If you're enjoying haunted UK fiction, please consider supporting the show on Patreon or Ko-fi. Simply search for Haunted UK Podcast. I'm about to start a story when a particularly violent gust whips up some debris from the night and clatters it against Jessica's window. The persistent wind penetrates even through the double glazing, and the My Little Pony curtains billow in, seemingly possessed of a life of their own. Jessica gasps and squeezes my neck tightly, peeping out the corners of her eyes at the errant hangings. I pull her in close to me, shushing her quietly and kissing her on the forehead. "Don't worry, darling. It's just the nasty old wind making that curtain blow." And I puff out my cheeks into fat pouches, which never fails to make my 5-year-old giggle. Until tonight, that is. Jessica peers at me, face serious. "What about the noises, Daddy?" Hello and welcome, dear listeners, to Haunted UK Fiction, a sister podcast to the Haunted UK, which features original flash fiction, short stories, and novellas with paranormal themes. All stories you will hear were written by a collection of talented writers, authors, and storytellers, both independent and professional. In today's episode, we'll be reading Grandpa's Clock, which was sent in to us by Jed Vesper, whose Christmas-themed stories aired in Season 1 of our podcast. Jed is a horror writer with a taste for the macabre and strange. His home county of Yorkshire, UK, is steeped in atmosphere and inspiration for the ghoulish and ghostly, so he fits right in. His debut anthologies, Tales of Dread and Dismay, Volumes 1 and 2, are available in ebook format from Amazon worldwide. Jed has also appeared in the BHF Books of Horror Stories in Book 8th, Special Cannibal Edition, and Book 11, a folk horror special. Jed's stories have also been published on the Planet Raconteur podcast, as well as Nocturnal Transmissions podcast. Jed is usually most active around the witching hour. That's when the company is best. So get comfortable, grab a little something to sip on. Perhaps cuddle up under a blanket to help offset the chills coming your way. And let's dive into the story. The windows are rattling in their frames tonight. Next to me, my wife sleeps as soundly as a baby. She always tells me that the wind at night is like a lullaby for her. The house I inherited from my parents has seen many a storm, but we're picking up the tail end of Hurricane Selena, who has just wreaked her devastation across the United States, taking homes, businesses, and lives along the way. With communities across the ocean lying in wreckage in her wake, she has now calmed a little and has been downgraded to her new identity, Storm Daphne. We British are so creative and imaginative. Still, karma or not, she's shaking the bones of the house tonight. Mindful not to wake Kate, I ease back the duvet and slide myself out of bed. I don't put on the light. Peering through a small gap in the drapes, I see Amos's front garden across the road, with next door's Siamese cat huddling beneath his yucca rostrada. That vicious beast of a plant is thrashing around as if it's reaching out and trying to attack his Mexican feathergrass. This waves equally berserkly, standing sentinel over every inch of front wall that the yucca does not. I swear to God, the old guy thinks he lives in the American Deep South or something, instead of Barnesborough, bloody village, Yorkshire. The cat's head twists sharply to the right as a wheelie bin gives up the ghost, totters gingerly, spins round twice, and then plummets to the pavement, heavy as a drunk. It vomits its contents all over the road. Papers whirl, tin cans clatter and bounce. Soggy tea bags cling defiantly to the tarmac. "Daddy!" The whispered word and the hand tapping on my backside almost caused me to cry out loud. "Jesus, Jessica," I breathe, turning round to see my daughter looking up at me, wide-eyed and open-mouthed. "What on earth are you doing out of bed?" She rubs her eyes, irritated, moaning quietly. "I can't sleep, Daddy. It's too noisy." I glance at the bedside clock. Its glowing red digits tell me it's 2:38 a.m. Hellfire, I've got to be up at 6 and at the station for 6:30 to King's Cross for that bloody course. Christ, I hate those things. Conference rooms full of strangers all trying to outdo each other and kiss as much ass as possible in one day. I mean, couldn't management at least have organised a course in Leeds, where I could actually drive to inside of an hour? I gently place a hand on top of Jessica's head and stroke her long dark hair. It feels like silk to my palm, and in that simple fusion, my heart melts all over again. All thoughts of tomorrow's torturous training course are temporarily banished. Perhaps it's a reaction against boyhood memories of my overbearing father, but I have no shortage of patience for my daughter and my wife. Ushering her tenderly from our bedroom and out onto the landing, I close the door quietly, listening keenly for any sound of disturbance from Kate, and hearing none. "Come on, honey," I smile down at Jessica's trusting face. "Daddy'll take you back to bed and tell you a story, so you can drift off back to the land of Nod again, okay?" Blinking up at me, she nods her head slowly and stretches her arms up. I softly bundle her into my arms and carry her to her room, which is in darkness save for the revolving round glass ball. Its moons and stars project reassuring bluish light and a universe of celestial magic on the walls, ceiling and floor. Placing my daughter delicately on her bed, I slide in beside her and snuggle up. I think she knows I find this just as relaxing as she does. I'm about to start a story when a particularly violent gust whips up some debris from the night and clatters it against Jessica's window. The persistent wind penetrates even through the double glazing, and the My Little Pony curtains billow in, seemingly possessed of a life of their own. Jessica gasps and squeezes my neck tightly, peeping out of the corners of her eyes at the errant hangings. I pull her in close to me, shushing her quietly and kissing her on her forehead. "Don't worry, darling. It's just the nasty old wind that made the curtain blow." And I puff out my cheeks into fat pouches, which never fails to make my 5-year-old giggle. Until tonight, that is. Jessica peers at me, face serious. "What about the noises, Daddy?" Deflated, I unpuff my cheeks and smile rather feebly. "I told you, sweetheart. It's only the silly old wind outside the window. It just blew up some twigs or something, and they bumped into the window." Her brow furrows, her feathery eyebrows almost meeting in the middle. "No, Daddy. It wasn't the wind outside that woke me up, silly." "Hey," I mildly admonish. "What else could it have been?" She looks at me as if it was the most obvious thing in the world, and that it was a stupid question to ask. To be honest, I was starting to feel a little unnerved. "Daddy," she says crossly, "it's Grandpa. He's moving about downstairs in the kitchen and he's calling out. He says he's lost." At that very moment, Jessica's nightlight winks out and the room is plunged into darkness. I reach up with shaking fingers and pull the little string to switch on the yellow crescent moon light mounted on the wall above the bed, Nothing. Oh, Christ. Christ. Oh, Christ, what the hell? What the... I let out a quick sigh of relief. Common sense kicking in. Power cut. Caused by the storm. And Jessica's just had a nightmare, that's all. I hear her sobbing in the darkness. Hey, Jessica, love. Daddy's here. I cuddle and rock her gently in my arms. You've had a bad dream, that's all, darling. You know Grandpa isn't here with us, don't you? Nuzzling into my shoulder, her voice is muffled. Yes, Daddy, but I was so sure that I heard him. She pauses before adding, I don't like those naughty dreams, Daddy. They scare me. The wind finds a pathway through the eaves, and the resulting sound resembles the despairing moan of a ghost, or a mother in despair. Then I remember the arguments, the sounds of crashing, my mother trying to hide the bruises. I swallow hard as I recall how she fell victim to the heart disease. Perhaps it was broken. It took her too young. Jessica trembles in my arms. I contemplate putting on the relaxing music that normally works for her, then remember we have no power. Just the wind playing a tune, I say inadequately. Hang on. Sweetheart, we have your Barbie torch in your bedside drawer, don't we? I reach over and slide open the drawer. Rummaging around inside, my fingers move aside miniature trolls, hair grips, silky ribbons, before closing around the little torch. I'm about to take it out and switch on the little beam, when I hear the sound from downstairs. A bump, like a chair knocking into a table. Then silence, save for that god-awful wind buffeting and blustering as if it's trying to lift the entire house from its foundations. What was that, Daddy? Jessica's small voice asks. There must be a window open downstairs, honey, I say, trying hard to convince myself. Something might have blown over. I click on the torch and slip out of the bed. Jessica grabs my pajama leg. Don't leave me, Daddy. Shh, I whisper, softly removing her hand and placing the small torch in her palm. Snuggle down under the duvet with your torch. Daddy just needs to go downstairs and make sure everything's all right, and check the fuse box. Then I might be able to pop the lights back on. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Seeing the hesitation in her eyes, I lean forward and rub my nose delicately against hers. 2 minutes. Cross my heart, okay? Jessica's eyes are wide and trusting, and I blow her a kiss as I back out of the room. My ears are keened, breath bated. The landing seems to have been swallowed in a mass of blackness. I steady myself with my hands against the walls, my legs deciding to turn to jelly. Get a grip. Storm bloody Daphne can go take a running jump. I'm going to shut that window, check the fuse box, and get my baby back to sleep. With a deep breath, I take my first step forward, gaining confidence, and I stride towards the stairs. Gripping the banister a little more tightly than normal, I hesitate. Momentarily, I feel like I'm standing on the edge of a precipice. Then I step down, as quietly as I can. So far, Kate hasn't been disturbed, and I want to keep it that way. Down in the hallway now. The wind pushes at the letterbox in the front door, making it squeak faintly. Halogen light from the street lamp filters through the stippled glass in the upper half of the door. At the end of the hallway, the kitchen door stands shut. What secrets is it concealing beyond? Damn that overactive imagination. I can't hear the clock. My heart lurches into my mouth. The words come from the other side of the door. The words of a confused old man, lost in the dark. I cock my head on one side. Hello? I say into the darkness. My probing word is met with silence. Oh, Christ of Nazareth. Am I hearing things now? A huge rattle and bang signal the dislocation of our side fence. I keep promising Kate I'll fix the damn thing, but never do. Now it's too late. A moan, half of despair, half of fear. In the kitchen. Dad? My skin erupts in goosebumps. Daniel? My father's voice comes from the other side of the door, standing sentinel to the darkened kitchen. "Daniel, there's no clock ticking in here. Where's it gone?" The carriage clock. The one he got on retirement from the plumbing company. The one he used to make me stare at when I'd been bad, marking out the seconds one torturous tick at a time. I creep forward, feeling like I'm stepping into the unknown, baffled as to how my father could be on the other side of the kitchen door, in my house. I turn the handle, pushing the door open slowly. There he is, in the gloom on the far side of the room, stooped over with his index finger in the air, as if to shush me. I venture into the kitchen, stopping just over the threshold. The wooden flooring is glacial beneath my bare feet, and I find myself straining to listen for his clock, which I know will not, cannot be there. It's buried deep, same as him, damn it. This is like some bizarre nightmare. My shredded nerves all but disintegrate at what I do here. Storm Daphne decides to catch her breath for a moment, and it is then that I hear the familiar ticking of our own wall clock on the chimney breast. But over by my father there is another clock, loud and insistent, invisible but undeniable. The carriage clock. Unmistakable. The words emerge from my mouth without bidding. Dad, if you listen carefully, there's two of them. You can hear them both ticking. Something touches my bare foot in the dark. I feel a deep, chilling, all-consuming dread. The ice-cold hand squeezes the top of my foot, and I screech out loud. Looking down into the near-pitch darkness, I see a hunched-up shape emerging from the table. I'm frozen to the spot, unable to move, and suddenly I'm a small boy again, wanting to call out to his mother. Peering at the other side of the kitchen, I see the shape that was my father is no longer there. He's vanished. "Your foot's cold, Daniel. You should put your slippers on," Dad's voice utters from beneath the table, and his gnarled fingers rub my foot as his bent old body slowly emerges, nebulous and indistinct. I can't see clearly, but in the blackness, I know his blind eyes are black chasms as he peers around. "Put the TV on for me, so I can see by its light, Daniel. I want to see you." "You're blind, Dad. You've got cataracts, remember? Untreatable?" I hesitate, trying to find the words to say next. "You have to remember. The doctors told you just a few weeks before." A small fizz, then an eerie blue light illuminates the kitchen. The old portable TV that sits next to the drainer flares into life. I sink to my knees, all energy sapping from my body, and the sepulchral arms of my father wrap around my neck. "I'm lost, Daniel. I'm scared and I can't see." "Stop it, Grandpa. You're not alive anymore." Jessica's voice, frightened and bewildered. "Oh, Christ, this is a nightmare. My dead father is here in my kitchen, clinging to me in the dark." A crash, followed by hundreds of slivers of glass, shoots in from the kitchen window frame. Storm Daphne has pitched up a patio chair, which is now lodged halfway in and halfway out. The whole room is a maelstrom. I twist my head around to see Jessica standing in the doorway, with a startled-looking Kate rushing up from behind her. "Grandpa, you shouldn't be here." I reach out a hand to my daughter and wife, but my fingers meet solid, freezing wood. My father's arms grip my neck so tightly, I can barely breathe. I must be back in bed, must be feeling the cold wood of the headboard. A vivid bad dream, safe in bed with Kate's arms wrapped around my neck, her gnarled fingers scratching at my flesh. "Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph!" A low growl emits from the wizened figure entwined with me. My father's voice yells, making my ears ring. "Wake me up! I'm frightened, son, and I can't hear the clock!" His nails dig into my flesh like coffin screws, and I thrash wildly in a vain attempt to switch on the bedside lamp. My sweeping hand meets painfully with solid resistance, and I wave my arms sightlessly, so complete is the darkness. Every which way, my knuckles and fingertips meet with immovable barriers of frigid, stinging wood. It feels like... Oh, God, protect me. It feels like I've been buried alive. Faint green light, discharging from my father's gaping mouth, brings grim confirmation of my situation. The wooden jacket of a coffin encases me, and my father grips me like a boa constrictor. His black, pitted eyes rove wildly, and he wails, "Wake me up, Daniel! Wake me up!" He can't. A calm, measured voice, firm in tone. Female, familiar, emanating from the viridescent mist. He can't wake you up. You're in your coffin, dead and cold. Impossible. The voice of my dear deceased mother? Come to save me? But I'm not cold. I don't feel cold, and I can't hear the clock. My father's dead voice assaults my ears. You're not cold because you do not feel. You do not feel because you do not understand. You do not understand because you dare not acknowledge that it has taken you. It has taken us both. My father's grip loosens mercifully. Clarissa? His voice hisses, the sibilance a diminishing whisper. Yes, Henry, it's me. My mother's voice again, as if from far away. Accept it. Death came to this house, and it took you. It took us both. Leave our son in peace now. Dad's icebox arms fully release their hold on me. And if you listen, you can hear the clock ticking, Henry. It's right here in the cold, hard ground, where it was buried with you. I hear it. The damnable carriage clock resonating its immeasurable terror, ticking away eternity, 6 feet under. Its sound is rhythmic, mesmeric. My eyes are heavy, leaden. Consciousness fades to oblivion. A blessed relief, as I'm wrapped in a blanket of warm insensibility. Nothing left, just the receding ticking of the clock. My heart lurches, and I'm dragged back to cognizance. The repetitive, strident tone is irrefutable. 6 a.m. The red digits of the clock bring hard fact and banish nightmare. Oh, dear Lord, thank you. The wind still buffets the windows. Kate lies sleeping on her side of the bed, breathing heavily, hogging the duvet, as usual. Oh, glorious reprieve. Take all the duvet you want, my darling. Nothing more than a nightmare. I gently press the snooze button. Just a few more minutes. I run my fingers through my sweat-soaked hair, looking forward to the refreshing warm shower, if not to the dismal day ahead in London. The opening riffs of Folsom Prison Blues tumble out into the shadowed bedroom. My phone lights up, flashing away as Johnny Cash begins. I hear the train a-comin', it's rolling around the bend. Insistent, loud. Who the hell's ringing at this time? For heaven's sake, don't wait, Kate. I flip open the cover, and the screen reveals the caller's ID. Dad calling. The phone falls from my hand, clattering against the bedside cabinet and dropping to the floor. The screen winks out. The line goes dead. Kate reaches across in the gloom, and I lean over for her protective embrace. Her cold and crooked fingers grip my shoulders. Her deep guttural voice yammers the words, "I'm lost." Over and over and over. The tempest outside shudders the house, and the whining wind plays a ghostly tune in the roof space. I can't hear the clock. The cadences of the corpse accompany the wind as long dead arms grip me in a stone-cold clinch. That brings us to the end of this episode. We truly hope you've enjoyed this terrifying tale. If you'd like to hear more from Jed Vesper, all details of his past, present, and future writing projects can be found on his Facebook page, Jed Vesper Ghost Story and Horror Writer. And he can occasionally be found haunting X at Jed Vesper. He sincerely hopes you're disturbed by his stories. If you have an original story that would send a chill down our spines and you would like to submit it for review, simply send it in to hauntedukfiction@hotmail.com. That's hauntedukfiction@hotmail.com. Until next time, stay safe and take care.